trading here now, guys. 82 evens are trading. Paper comes in a big seller. 81 evens are trading here now, guys. 79s are trading. You got 79s trading here now once again.
Get ready, everybody, because it's time for JVonD Radio. And now your host, JVonD.
What up, guys? I'm here with Ben Lichtenstein. How are you, man?
What's up?
How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Good, man. Good to be hanging out with you here. Now, you're the man from well, I got a few things typed down here, and maybe smooth sounding commentator. Does that sound about right? How about play-by-play announcer? We're talking from TradersAudio, everybody. Ben is here live with us, and you kind of do the play-by-play of the S&P 500 futures pit. Is that what you kind of call it?
Correct.
Wow. So
it's a rapid-fire, streaming commentary, price activity, players, energy, lack thereof, basic coverage of what markets are moving, but yeah, it's a streaming kind of commentary or auctioneer sort of style, if you will, description of audio description of what's developing right in front of us in the pit, and it is an auction basically that's constantly bids, offers, buyers, sellers, so it's kind of like like your old school sort of, what were they called, the Tommy guns, the tick 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 tick, just it's a machine gun style, audio commentary.
And you go for how many hours straight?
Oh, open to close, 8 hours straight.
Call you an overtime auctioneer too, because
it's awesome. It's nothing but energy. It's it's tiring, but the crazy thing is the more tiring times are the slower times. When it's busy and everything's rocking, you flip the switch on, and before you know it, you look up, and it's late in the afternoon, and you're ready to head home. It's tiring when nothing's going on. It's not tiring when something's going on. What I mean?
That's like the past week. I don't know how I found this weird chat room, TradersAudio. Now, does TradersAudio, are you guys on an XM channel too, or just the internet?
No, TradersAudio has other channels that are available other than the broadcast that I provide, which is the S&P commentary. We also do a bonds commentary, which is coverage of the 30-year, the 10-year, the 5-year. Same thing, a little bit different broadcaster, a little bit of a different style. But again, streaming price activity with fundamentals, with news. Also, we do a crude broadcast, which is really similar to mine. The guys on the trading floor in the NYMEX and standing alongside the natural gas in the crude pit, and talks about price activity, player, energy, lack thereof. We also have a broadcaster covering the grains, which is extended a little bit into the metals and some of the softs and stuff, so some cocoa, some coffee, but mostly focus on wheat, corn, now a little bit, like I said, gold, silver, platinum, copper, but also we have a stock channel, which is individual stocks. Like I said, we have my broadcast, and then we also have a Forex channel, which is currencies, dollar related. Again, all the channels commentary provides news related type activity as well, releases, stuff like that. So it's expanded over the years. We've been doing it for a while, but it started out just at S&Ps, and now it's kind of grown into this other thing. But they're all individual, independent contractors, so it's really it's their own thing. We're just trying to bring it together and put it under one name and make it available to everybody. And we negotiate the deals and work the relationships and make it available at a cheaper cost for you guys than it would be if you were out there, working those relationships and negotiate those deals yourselves.
Yeah. Now this is almost a necessity for guys who were in the pits, but now with computer trading, it's totally different, right? There's Yeah,
I don't know if I'd say necessity, but it's everybody's different. We don't force feed this to anyone, so I don't like to use words like that, but it's helpful to many. There's no question, and it depends what type of trader you are. Here's the deal: you're sitting back. I'm sitting in front of my screens right now. I'd flip my thing around and show you what I look at. I got 6 screens right in front of me now, and my charts aren't on. I haven't even looked at the charts yet tonight, but I could pop it all up and show you how I view the market, but in a little bit if need be. But what I'm talking about is I'm sitting here in front of these screens and it's quiet here, and so you get tired, you get a little sleepy, a little heavy, your eyelids start, and your mind wanders, and it's nice to have that connection, that outside source of information, that kind of team, if you will, that like, you want somebody rooting for you, and you want somebody kind of providing that extra little, that little bit of what you need, or what that here's what it comes down to. I like to run, and like we just had a big run because we're all getting ready for our marathon in my running group. None of us, we all ran Saturday together. None of us would have wanted to do our run alone, but together it's all right.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can work through it.
That's like disc golf.
Or, hey, you're talking, you're doing this, so you're focused on one thing, and for the most part, there's this great book. I'm trying to see if it's not on the shelf over here, but my daughter gave it to me. What was it called? I think I gave it to my friend, but I want to think it was called Imagine. And
he's a dad too, everybody.
What is that?
He's a dad.
Yeah, my daughter, so she's a junior, and she gave me this book. I think it was written by the guys that did Tipping Point, and I think it was called Imagine. And in there, they're talking just about how traders that communicate with each other through chat and through other things like that, actually have a better win, loser ratio, and do better, their P&L. And mainly because of partially because of the information that you want to gather as a trader. You want to have as quick and as much of it for the most part, but depending on how you trade, obviously. But again, what it really comes down to is just that it's a interesting, unique way to receive information that isn't necessarily readily I always say that it taps into this audio capacity that your mind has to obtain and interpret information, instead of, again, getting so focused on the visual and so focused on reading these charts and so focused on, so you can hear audio and you can interpret audio and your brain can interpret it, and it unlocks other visual potential because you don't need to focus on, hey, I always say, again, hey, where's the S&P's trading? I can focus on the NASDAQ, or I can focus on something else because we're sitting here telling you where the S&P's are trading. So comes down to. So I don't say necessity. I say it's available. Check it.
So so you must have gotten started with this because you're a trader before or now? Are you currently trading while you're doing this?
I do trade. It's not how I make a living right now, but I've gotten better and better over the years. I've been trading for a long time. It's right now what I do is it's kind of a long story what I do, but I trade maybe once or twice a week, and usually gold, euro currency.
Just from home, or as
no,
like
from the trading floor.
Oh wow, cool.
I'll trade on the screen or from home here, but I'm trying to distance myself from it a little bit because I'm starting to look at larger degree time frames, if you will. I'm starting to look more like on a daily and weekly type time frame. So for me, that's better because it's difficult for me to focus on the more granular kind of 5-minute, 30-minute daily time frame. So but I've I started doing this. It's kind of a long story, but the short of it is because I started working on the trading floor, and over the years realized quickly how important really good, consistent, concise, and relevant information was for certain traders, and reliable, and not only that, so I had traders on that were off the trading floor that were dependent on really, really consistent and reliable information on the trading floor in order to execute trade. Basically, they were spread traders, and so if I'm telling them where one price is, where they can buy and sell at one price, they're going to trade another product based on what I'm telling them. So if they hit that other product and I can't get them what I promised them I could get them over here on the left, the whole spread's out of whack. The price is out of whack. And so it was important for me to be able to anticipate price, if that makes sense for you, you know, and because it's changed a lot over the years, don't get me wrong, but
well, that's a lot of responsibility, right? I mean,
but it's fun, and that's what it that's what it takes. I mean, what else
is there? Is there always a disclosure like, this is professional broadcast entertainment? We're not. It's education. You're playing with the big boys down there.
We're not talking about trade recommendation type stuff. We're not giving you green arrow, red arrow. We don't say buy, sell. This is strictly informative.
What if you ever screwed up one time, like big time?
We screw up all the time. First of all, I mean, I'll give a report or a number or a price wrong all the time. Basically, that's what it comes down to. I mean, it's like, here's really what it comes down to. No one thing that we say is so relevant that the world is going to come down based on it, if you know what I mean. No one price, no one tick, a good friend of mine, this guy Tom Alexander, I've learned a lot from market profile and price activity and auction market theory, et cetera, et cetera. No one kind of line in the sand really exists, if you will. There's no price anywhere that means that much for everyone. So it really it ultimately, I'm tempted not to say this, but basically here's what it comes down to. I just had this conversation with the broadcaster last night. We don't want credit for the good ones or blame for the bad ones. You know what I mean? We're just providing information. You click, we talk. You know what I mean? So you take credit for the good ones, you take blame for the bad ones. We're just giving you information. We're not telling you where to buy or sell. And that's the beauty of what we do. That's the luxury of what we do. It's like we get to kind of be a politician, if you will. We get to play both sides always, So in all fairness, every time there's a buyer, there's a seller. So never are we sitting here gloating going, and it's usually when Morgan's buying, the locals are selling. The locals are the middleman, if you will, the market makers. And so we're never sitting here going, oh, we were all over the fact that Morgan was buying and the price went higher, and we never do that. It's just it's so fake, and people see right through it, and that's why we're sitting here right now tonight. That's why we're still there tomorrow, and I've been doing this a long time, and the main reason is really hard work and honesty. That's all it comes down to. Really,
when did you start doing this? Like the broadcast? Because are you the first?
About 15 years ago. About 15 years ago.
The pit broadcast?
Yeah.
So you've seen it all. I've
seen a lot, not all.
Can you give us kind of a sense of the sights, the sounds, the smells of the pit back in the day? Yeah, because
it's changed.
There was hundreds of dudes.
Here's what I can tell you. I can tell you about some really cool times. I don't know if you remember Irrational Exuberance. That was a really, really interesting time. What comes to mind? I don't know if you remember that whole Dubai debacle, right on Thanksgiving Day, and the day before Thanksgiving. And obviously 9/11 goes without saying. Flash crash goes without saying. 9/11 was really, really interestingly, obviously it goes without saying, tragic. And for any listeners that are out there and lost, loved ones or family members or friends, again, obviously our hearts go out to you. And I don't know if you did, or I had a lot of trader friends that were basically just knocked way back,
crushed,
without getting into it anymore in terms of emotionally and mentally, and because everybody knew somebody for the most part, but that was a big one, to say the least. I mean, but there's been all kinds of interesting ones. There's the one where the trader took the pen through the cheek, and some guy's going like this, and he write a pencil or pen right through his cheek. And there was the one time a bag of Coke was sitting on the trading floor, and all the traders are standing around looking at it, laughing, and no one wanted to pick it up. And this one girl walks up and she goes and just picks it up. She's
nice.
like, "I'll take that thing." Keep in mind she ended up dead like 5 years later
no way.
on one of the local highways. No,
Oh,
I'm
my
not.
God.
Sad story, but it's a hard life down there. It really is. And here's the deal. It's changed so much over the years. It really has, that it's like it almost anything that you discuss about today isn't and wasn't what it was yesterday, if you will.
Well, there was this big thing when it went to computer trading, right?
Sure.
And that's why
it
you're
was a
so
slow
important
thing, but it was a
in the
big thing.
whole
Yes.
process nowadays, like, if somebody, let me just ask you this: do you have to be a day trader to really take your information? I don't know. What do you recommend for somebody who is looking for or is listening to this? Because it's almost like you have to jump on the rallies with these guys in the chat room and all right.
Well, what I recommend if you're looking to be a day trader right now is
I'm joking.
Is
that the kind of people that listen to your cast?
Yes, mostly are intraday, in and out type traders. But everybody's different. Every trader's different. Everybody trades something different. Everybody uses it for something different. Some use it just purely for entertainment. Some use it so that when their friends come over, they can go, "Hey, listen to this guy. I'm the best trader in the world. I got this guy.
That's me.
I'm connected to the trading floor."
That's me.
No, everybody uses it for something different. So
I love it. And that's broadcast entertainment. I don't know if did you got into this before even podcasting came around? This is like so cool.
Yeah, we're doing this.
Like, well, the audio went out. The audio skips every once in a while. Sorry about that. Well, on the
it's crystal clear for me. I don't know about the other guys. Yeah, no, we were doing this before voice over IP. We were doing this before.
That is incredible.
Before
I'm new to this
Talk,
thing, everybody.
Our software developer was literally on the verge of beating out Pal Talk and Skype and all those guys.
Oh, wow.
He was developing audio-video software over the internet, and the software was called Emulive. I don't know, some of you guys out there might have heard of it years ago, but we just recently shifted away from that to a different platform. But basically, he was a guy out of Canada, and he was where was he? Montreal, I think. And he was a one man band kind of thing, and he for some reason didn't really expand in the right way that those other companies did. I don't know if it was money or whatever, but he had the money, he had the idea, he had the know-how. He just stopped at one point, and I think he got overtaken, I guess, and he knew it. And so but yeah, so he so back in the day, he helped us kind of develop this product that used to only be available on over phone lines, and then it became more readily available and faster and more reliable over the internet over the years. And nowadays it's really nothing to have live audio over the internet, obviously, and everybody does. And but yeah, it's still what it is. It's still a lot of fun to do. It's still a lot of energy. It's still a lot of information, and we're going to keep doing it as long as they let us, because we're still really passionate about it. And
it's not like they put video cameras like in the pit. It's like it's like you're actually
they don't allow that for the most part.
You're actually deciphering the emotions of these traders.
Correct. Which again is relevant. It's priceless information for some, worthless for others. You know what I mean? And so
entertaining for weirdos like me, because I love it. We're
very well aware of the what it is. And don't make it out to be anything other than exactly what it is. But yeah, if anybody's interested, I definitely encourage them to check it out, because it's a fairly unique way of receiving a lot of information about price and, like you said, emotion and energy and participation and conviction, and all these are really important components of the market. Which either as a new trader, you might not have that experience and that ability to kind of identify that information. And so, you know, it's a real help to have somebody who's honest and you know, and really prides themselves on that, for one, and for two, you know, is bringing you information that's I don't know if filtered is the best word, because I don't want it to make it sound like we're trying to we're being critical or judgmental in terms of what you should hear, because in my opinion you should hear everything, but we're able to filter you know, kind of the noise, if you will, and for the most part give that really you know, specified sort of kind of concise interpretation of what's happening. So, you know, and it's you know, just kind of to clear up what I was talking about, like, for example, you know, if the market's making a new high, there's only a certain thing, you know, like, for example, you're sitting here talking about the S&Ps, and then you look over and you notice gold's making a new high. There's a little bit of information to talk about there, but you don't want to just make it, you know, you don't always, there's just a little bit of information, if you will. You don't need to all of a sudden make it into some 5-paragraph explanation about what's going on with gold. Sure. You know what I mean? So there's a few different ways to present this information, and for the most part, you know, you want it to be, you know, very concise.
So like I found you on the Thinkorswim platform, and there's some really cool chat people out there. I don't know, Anna Babe and Street and Dull Blade, and I'd love to give everybody a big shout out because I love those guys. But
those guys have all been around for years and years and years.
A big shout out to Big Al. Your buddy,
Big
right?
Al's been around for years and years and years. I've known him for 30 years.
So does he work another stream while you take your lunch break, or how's that work?
Big Al's just doing breaks right now, and he's done everything. He's had his own channel. He's he used to do the news years ago. He did the mini contract years ago. He's given Martha, you know, break on the bonds channel. Big Al's our utility guy, basically.
Cool.
He's the workforce.
Awesome. Well, thanks, man, for talking to us. I mean, do you mind if I ask you kind of like a cheesy layman's question here? Like,
shoot, anything.
What's the story with that big grandfather clock bell that rings randomly? It's like sometimes it rings once, sometimes it rings a couple times.
Question. That's nothing. That every 15 minutes in the back, basically what he's talking about there, guys, for those of you who don't know, is every 15 minutes in the background of my broadcast, he's hearing this thing that goes, whatever, it just goes wee wee, whatever. It's like this clock that rings. It's like this alarm that goes off, and
I'm talking about the dong dong. I don't know. Is that the same thing?
Yeah,
that big ass.
You're hearing